Okay, perfecto. So every player wears this, right?
Yes.
Every single one of
Yes.
them,
We
and this
use
is the magic. I recently went to Argentina, the home country of Messi and Maradona, to see and try to measure the impact that data and artificial intelligence are having on the beautiful game. In a place where football has always been inherited, not taught. What I discovered made me realize much more than the future of football is at stake here. We're driving through a restricted zone to catch a football match in Buenos Aires, all thanks to Jorge Gaspari, a hometown legend who played with Maradona. This Tier 2 league match, Jorge says, is where I'll get a true first-hand experience of Argentina's intense, almost fanatical passion for football. People have died at these local games. We're now going to see a match between two Argentinian clubs. The passion here is just insane. Argentinians are so passionate about soccer that actually it's been a few years since they banned the fans for the opposing team to attend the match. Look, for example, the other side of the stadium is actually empty.
El fútbol en Argentina sí, hay una pasión, se vive a veces hasta parecería de medida en algunos momentos, pero es la esencia del deporte, el hecho de poder manifestar y poderlo jugar en diferentes ámbitos.
While this may sound excessive, you could find passionate football fans globally. After all, football is the world's most watched sport. Some people fail to understand why there is so much love for a relatively slow game where few goals are usually scored. And most of the time, the game looks like a bunch of grown men passing a ball around. But football is a lot more than just a sport. There's really no game quite like it. For example, unlike American football, where the action is built around scripted plays and heavy physical collisions, or basketball, where scoring is fast and frequent, football thrives on fluidity, patience, and sudden bursts of brilliance. For a long time, many believed that no computer could ever fully understand or analyze this beautiful complexity. But that view is quickly becoming outdated. As big data and artificial intelligence are entering the picture, football is turning into a game of numbers, and that has made a lot of people concerned about the future of the beautiful game. To understand this transformation, we need to start where it all began, the dirt. Argentinians have their own word for these unregulated and unstructured games that kids play in vacant lots. Potrero. Over the years, potrero, meaning pasture in Spanish, has come to mean a lot more than just a playground for kids who have nowhere else to go. Potrero is now iconic in Argentine football culture. It's synonymous with a gritty and creative style of play, distinct from that of formal stadiums. Potrero is improvisation, freedom, and raw talent. Potrero gave birth to Messi and Maradona.
Jugar en un potrero o en la calle, que cada vez es menos acá, pero en los pueblos, y uno no necesita decirle a un chico vamos a practicar un deporte, sino que lo practica lo primero que hay en una casa para ya te digo, alguien, amamos tanto el fútbol que el primer regalo que a un chico se le da es una pelota.
But we no longer live in the era when Jorge moved up from Potrero to play with Maradona for the national team. As a children's coach, he's now leveraging cutting-edge technology to crank out tomorrow's football stars.
Hoy a través de la tecnología lo podés ver a diario y tener en el momento todo tipo de, llámese mediciones, lo que es la parte física, lógicamente está la ciencia, la parte para la parte de los técnicos, el hecho de tener información al instante, de ejemplo videoanálisis sobre táctica, estrategia, perdón, y el rival.
But technology's advantages appear to come at a significant price. A few miles from this street game is the Huracán Athletic Club. Coming from that part of Buenos Aires to this state-of-the-art football academy feels like traveling into the future. Okay, perfecto. So every player wears this, right?
Yes.
Every single one of them, and this
use
is the magic. Early in the morning, parents drop off their children to chase a life-changing dream shared by virtually every Argentinian boy, to become a successful professional footballer. So one day, maybe one of these players will become famous, like Messi, and I have the video. Maybe, you don't know. Yeah. It's 7:30 a.m. That's how early it is for the players to start. Like disciplined soldiers, the kids are on time for their rigorous training. You can see the passion on their faces. They appear to be driven by the belief that they can write their own destiny. All they have to do is put in the hard work demanded of them. In Argentina, where nearly 40% of the population lives in poverty, football isn't just a hobby. It's the only ticket to escaping perpetual hardship for many people. But the threshold for success has changed. To become world-class professional footballers, these kids must now satisfy more than just their human instructors. They also have to earn the approval of AI models that clubs use to assess a player's worth. What do we exactly know about the performance of a player just from that GPS vest?
Hay muchísima información. Entonces tenemos distancia total, la distancia total que recorre el jugador en el campo. La distancia relativa de acuerdo a las velocidades, es decir, rango de velocidades. Bueno, la sigla en inglés es HSR, High Speed Running. Los metros recorridos a alta velocidad. Variables mecánicas, como son aceleraciones, desaceleraciones. Esas aceleraciones y desaceleraciones tenemos en cuenta las de alta intensidad, mayor a 3 metros por segundo al cuadrado.
But can greatness really be engineered? Or does the growing reliance on data kill what makes players like Messi, Messi? In recent years, we've seen a growing number of AI-powered gadgets and software that help us dissect virtually every aspect of the game. There are tools that even help us predict and possibly prevent injury. There's even this eye-tracking technology that tells players where to look to boost their chances of scoring a penalty kick. human scouts fear losing their jobs, and now players can even practice in a metaverse version of a football pitch. So yeah, they can train right from their bedroom. But in practice, what do all these mean exactly?
The problem was lack of visibility. So clubs need to have people in ground to understand which were the best talents in every single country. Right now, and thanks to platforms that contribute with videos, with data, we can get faster and we can get with biggest volumes to watch leagues and competitions and to understand young kids in every single country of the world. So the tools in order to make possible that visibility are nowadays, weren't possible years ago.
At Argentina's football academies like Huracán, the data-driven training is fueled by a growing emphasis on measurable performance at well-paying European football clubs, the dream destination for every South American player.
Y entonces acá nosotros estamos más construyendo un jugador para la venta para el fútbol europeo que para el propio juego y contexto sudamericano. Es cierto que se ha variado. El fútbol sudamericano ha perdido alguna parte de su esencia.
But how and in what way exactly? For those not aware of how we got here, we need to go back at least a decade to the 2015-16 season in the UK. In that season, one team rewrote the rules of football. A miracle happened. Leicester City won the country's Premier League despite having 1 in 5,000 chance. Just think about that. In 2015, if you would bet $100 on Leicester winning the Premier League, you would win $500,000. Instead of outspending their rivals, Leicester found a way to outsmart them and win their first ever Premier League title in history. Then why did they do so poorly this season and get relegated? There's a very good explanation for that, which I will get to later. But now, let's get back to Leicester's magical season. For comparison, that season, Leicester spent $78 million to assemble their squad, while Manchester City, under their new Emirati owners, spent more than $600 million, nearly 8 times more. Leicester's surprising triumph stunned the world. You cannot win the Premier League by luck. You need to play 38 games against 19 opponents and do better on average against all of them. Experts looking for answers learned that Leicester had done something that other teams had overlooked, or at least were not doing as religiously: making data-driven decisions. Leicester recognized that we were living in the age of big data, and football, like other sports, should also be studied and improved with data. Leicester assembled a data analytics team to help in 2 primary areas: scouting, identifying undervalued talent in lower leagues, and analyzing opponents' play styles for potential weaknesses. First, they designed a statistical model that helped them identify undervalued talent like Jamie Vardy, then a non-league journeyman, and Riyad Mahrez, a player from France's second tier whom no one had heard of. The model didn't care about how famous the players were or where they played. All it cared about was certain metrics. They include things like goal conversion rates, work rate, and pressing intensity. Both Mahrez and Vardy met those metrics and ended up being instrumental for Leicester to make history. This approach proved an earth-shattering idea. Brains and bytes could trump bank accounts. Leicester's unexpected triumph sent a loud message worldwide. The beautiful game had forever changed. It was turning into a science. To win titles, teams now had to do something new. Ask machines for help. Literally. Last year, Ian Graham, the former head of Liverpool's data analytics team, published this book titled How to Win the Premier League, the inside story of football's data revolution. He explained that despite its sophistication compared to other games like baseball, football could still be measured, and that studying data had become a must for any team to win major competitions. So if data makes such a huge difference, why hasn't Leicester been able to replicate its success since? There's a simple answer. Because Leicester no longer enjoys the data advantage it did a decade ago. Today, every single Premier League team has a data analytics department, and that a data arms race among football giants is already underway. In addition to signing good players, football teams are also fighting for an invisible yet influential player, the data scientist. You might have seen this guy. It's Lee Mooney, the man who built the data analytics department for Manchester City. Just listen to what he recently told the New York Times about AI's potential in football. You could set up to play Manchester City, he said, train the AI agent to understand how they play and what their individual strengths and weaknesses are, and then play the game millions of times to find the most efficient strategies to beat them with the players you have. But if players are told to do exactly what an AI model recommends, wouldn't that turn them into robots?
Thank you very much. I hope with my
Your English is very good. Trust me, it's a million times better than my Spanish. That's Matías Vargas talking to me via Zoom. The professional Argentinian football player who played for La Liga's Espanyol against Messi. He's now with Saudi Arabia's Fateh, playing in the same league as Cristiano Ronaldo.
They want to take you and play the football what they want, and that is losing all the time yourself how you play. And now I think we don't play football. This is not a game. It's another sport. It's athletic sport. It's different. We don't play football. That is because when
Matías is not against using statistics outright, but his message is that data cannot tell the complete picture.
I don't know, maybe you the people see you playing and they say, oh, this guy ran a lot. Okay, yes, he ran a lot, but how effective is his running? Well, when I play in Spain, I play against Messi, and you see the GPS report of Messi is like 6 kilometers, 7 kilometers per game. Normally it's 10, and that kind of player is 10 kilometers running. I think, how is possible? And he made always the difference. And it's okay, it's not important, not always.
Even Argentina's manager Lionel Scaloni, who helped his team win the World Cup, has spoken against over-reliance on data.
Argentina, champions of the world!
We're losing the essence of football, he told the Spanish newspaper Marca. And there are even more scathing articles. The soul of the game is already wounded. In the English Premier League, for example, the number of long shots is at the record low. Average shooting distance has dropped nearly 2 meters in a decade. Why? Because data says long shots are inefficient. Critics say the game could still become more robotic. A lot more robotic. Already, AI models recommend holding possession, avoiding risky passes, and skipping unnecessary dribbles. We track how far a player runs, how many passes they complete. If these are the metrics that earn players more playtime, why would they risk being creative? In Buenos Aires, I sat down with a chief data analyst for Argentine women's national team, who explained that embracing data is no longer exclusive to men's soccer at all.
Cuando tuvimos la Copa del Mundo, el primer rival era Italia y pasamos cerca de 8 meses analizando todos los partidos de Italia y las características individuales de las jugadoras. Creo que el fútbol sí está evolucionando hacia un lugar de registro metódico y a partir del número, de esto que se puede decir que se convierte más a más en ciencia.
But some doubt that we will ever get to the point where individual brilliance is irrelevant.
Uno sabe lo que tiene que hacer dentro de la cancha, pero son decisiones de segundos o de milésimas de segundos que por más que uno sepa que estadísticamente el pase hay que darlo a la derecha o a la izquierda, son decisiones.
Jorge Gaspari, an ESPN journalist in Buenos Aires, helped me better understand the nuances of Argentina's growing use of data.
Todo lo que es Big Data creció mucho en Argentina, bueno, en el mundo, pero también en Argentina a nivel cualitativo y cuantitativo. Hoy el gran tema es cómo poder manejar toda esa información.
And there are undisputedly good use cases for data.
The first point with greatest players is you need to extend their professional period. So when you watch and you detect a young kid which seems to has great skills and an impressive ability, then you need to take care of him, not just inside the pitch, but preventing injuries.
It's my last day in Buenos Aires and the streets are blocked. Traffic has come to a standstill and police are everywhere. Men, women, and children are all going in the same direction. No one wants to miss the chance to see this football match. So I'm in Buenos Aires and Argentina is playing today. Lionel Messi is expected to play. That's why we're going to see some of the most die-hard fans today. In the match against Bolivia, Messi didn't disappoint. He scored a hat-trick. But I realized that what makes people love Messi so much isn't just the number of goals he scores, but how he plays. Every time he touched the ball, people stood up, leaned forward, hoping for a moment of magic. But what will happen to that magic if football becomes all numbers and models? While many are hopeful that it'll somehow remain, the decline in the number of long shots taken in the Premier League, for example, points to a less promising future, one where we might sacrifice more artistry for cold efficiency. As fans, as people, are we okay with silencing the poetry of the game in pursuit of results? This is the question we should be asking ourselves. Is winning trophies all that matters? And this isn't just about football. It's about how far we will let AI seep into our lives, especially when it promises gain at the cost of what makes us human, our instinct, our emotion, and our soul. In the description below, I'll provide all the sources I used in this video. If you like this story and would like us to produce more in-depth stories of innovation, please consider subscribing to our channel, Rudaw Innovation. Thank you for watching.